Our little demon is finally becoming a D-man. King has unlocked his powers, y'all, and not only are they adorable, they're also pretty epic. Today, we're looking back at Knock Knock Knockin' on Hooty's door to recap what we've learned about demons and theorize what's next for King's powers. You're watching Whitney Vision, and this is why King's powers might be more than meets the eye. Real quick before we get started, I want to remind everyone that you can help support Whitney Vision as we grow our numbers back by donating to our Patreon. We've got stickers and more, so see if any of our donation tiers work for you. Now on to King's powers! I've been wondering since season 1 when and if King was going to start doing magic of his own, and I'm so excited that our boy finally leveled up. I can empathize with the little dude's search for his greater purpose, and it's really rad to see him slowly find the answers he's looking for. And who better to help him navigate demon puberty than the demonic core of the Owl House himself, Hooty. Professor Hooty explains the different types of demons and their exclusive powers in hopes of triggering a magical reaction in King. After kidnapping him via owl pellet and setting up a lecture for Demon Puberty 101.5, Hootsufer begins teaching. Although the King of Demons once boasted his vast knowledge of the subject, it's clear that our boy has a lot to catch up on. According to Hooty, there are 8 different defining traits for demons: fur, chinchilla, pocket monster, Cthulhu, fidgety, claws, cartoon, and super cute. Clearly, King is not a Cthulhu, but the rest are fair game. Even Hooty's not sure if King is a chinchilla or a cubone. Hooty relays that their demonic ancestors arose from the muck of a decomposing titan, and all demons can be placed in one of 3 main categories: bugs, biped. So, if you look at some of the examples on the board, you'll see that the representative from the Stylist Coven, aka the baby class teacher, is marked with a sticky note that says hybrid. My guess is that this demon is a mix between bug and biped types, but bugs communicate with one another via dance, so the first challenge is seeing if King can talk to his fellow demons by shaking his groove thing. The 2 bug demons that demonstrate their abilities are a fairy and a double-bodied flutterbug, and although they perform a poetic repertoire, King's boogie accidentally insults Hooty's mother. Bug demons are also able to form a small amount of magic, even though they don't have bile ducts. After failing to spin a cocoon properly, Hooty declares that King is not a bug type. Next, Hooty tests King to see if he's a biped, which makes sense because King does tend to walk on 2 legs instead of all 4. Like witches, biped demons have magic bile ducts and pointed ears, and they're also able to perform spells. Some examples like she's intensely playing Animal Crossing, but she's a fierce fighter. She takes King down with a single move, and it's clear that our little dude cannot hang with the bipeds. Animals like this furry baby. For King, however, the blood test came back inconclusive, so Hooty can't figure out exactly what he is. At first, King is pretty disappointed. The only reason that he went through with all these ridiculous, moderately dangerous tests in the first place was to find out more about where he came from. He thought that maybe if he could figure out what he is, it might lead him to finding out who he is, or even who his father might be. But just as he starts to freak out at the unfairness of it all, he lets out a sonic woof that radiates a powerful ring of energy throughout the night sky. Although King isn't mad at Hooty, he's experiencing a lot of emotions towards his father for abandoning him and leaving him without any explanation about where he came from. He specifically says that he's mad at his dad, but because I'm the queen of daddy issues, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. That anger is based in immense sadness. As my therapist likes to remind me frequently, in this situation, King is feeling hurt, abandoned, confused, and frustrated, causing him to react angrily. When he lashes out, his scream produces a ring of power that radiates outward, hitting Hooty. Later on, when a giant chunk of the Owl House threatens to crush Luz before she can even ask out Amity, King lets out another mighty bork with multiple power rings that explode the rock into a sea of perfect lesbian flag lighting. And when he gets home for the evening, he practices using it on smaller objects, like one of Ida's apple blood glasses. Later on, when he and Amity are battling against Hunter to protect the portal key in Eclipse Lake, King lets out a tiny sonic bork that blows the Golden Guard's hair back, but it isn't really powerful enough to do much else. This tells me that King's powers are stronger when he's impassioned, like he was when he was upset with Hooty, or scared that his friends would be squished. Before he can make another sound, he gets toppled during the fight and lands upside down with his horn stuck in the Titan's veins. I'm kinda like, dude, even if you're inverted, you can still help. But he's a cute, sweet little baby, not a warrior, so my question, and I'm sure King's question as well, is, What kind of powers does King's dad have? And will King grow into them as he gets stronger? Personally, I'm hoping that King becomes the Owl House's furry little black canary. If he can find a way to make his sonic borks more powerful, he could do some serious damage to the Emperor's Coven with a single woof. And if we're doing black canary roles, maybe he'll also be able to propel himself around the boiling isles with his screams. Unfortunately, stopping King's new power will be pretty easy for Belos's cronies, because pretty much all they'd have to do is tie a gag in his mouth to prevent him from making noise. Kinda similar to how the guards just stuffed earplugs in when the Bards Against the Throne showed up at the marketplace. And speaking of the Bard Coven, they might be the ones to talk to about King's new sound-related powers. If anybody knows how to train King to use his voice magic, it's that group. Ugh, if only Rain wasn't trapped by the Emperor's Coven, they could be doing vocal warm-ups and strength training exercises right now. Obviously, King hasn't used his sonic bork in a musical setting yet, but the muscle has to be similar, right? One of the reasons why musical spells are so powerful, in my opinion, are because of the emotions that their melodies stir up. For example, remember when Ida and Rain were playing their rhapsodies and requiems? Their magic wasn't only physically powerful. There were also so many feelings behind the song they played together, including infatuation, heartbreak, concern, forgiveness, and even fear. This got me thinking about King's powers, and the way that emotion might be tied to them as well. This is definitely just a theory at this point, but what if King's new magic roar has the power to influence, heighten, or manipulate the emotions of others? Obviously, this theory stems from the first time we see King display his powers, as it appears to alter Hooty as if he was put under a curse. Immediately after this outburst, Hooty says that he feels sad now too. Obviously, Hooty could just be saying this because he empathizes with his friend's need to belong, and it's digging up some of his own feelings of inadequacy. But what if King's magic actually caused Hooty to absorb some of his negative feelings? Hooty is definitely always a pretty dramatic guy, but he really freaks out after being rejected by King. Every time we see Hootsufer after this moment, he gets increasingly more upset. The only exception is the dream Hooty that appears to Ida, but dream is the operative word there. When she wakes up as Harpy Ida, real Hooty is already distraught and breaks easily into a big sob. Then when he checks on Luz, he's not crying, but clearly he's struggling with dopamine. He's able to compose himself, but the next time he shows up, he's having a full-scale meltdown. Okay, but Whitney,